Welcome. He went beyond the borders over 42 years ago with the dream of becoming a medical doctor. But as he puts it, the oracle decided otherwise and he ended up with the drum in his hand. You will want to think, who will drop a medical career to become a master drummer? And how has this decision impacted his life? Him alone has the answers and much more. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Mr. Opa Joseph Ngwa. He is 67 years old. He hails from Jinibi, Momo Division, Northwest region of Cameroon. Bangwa, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's my greatest pleasure to be here on this set with you.
All right. Coming to America, Bangwa, becoming a master drummer was not the initial dream. You hoped to become a medical doctor. What motivated you to change this plan? What inspired you to become a master drummer?
Inherent in this discourse and narrative on this set is the answer to that mysterious question. Because we are here having this interview is a confirmation of the calling that the oracles call me with the drum, to play the drum, because I was told they will make a better drumming doctor out of me than I could ever hope to become a westernized medical doctor.
Did you just get up one morning and you picked the drum and you started playing and it moved on, or how did it come? How did it happen?
Good question. I was born to be a drummer. Before I became aware of it, that was going to be my calling. And I can give you a little bit of history. When I was a child, my mother used to snatch me out of bed around 4 a.m. in the morning to go to church for morning prayers. And she was beating the drum on one hand and chanting, praising God with her voice, and me being there, sitting there with sleepy eyes, dreading the experience. But later on, it was revealed to me that my mother was having an initiatory rite of passage to consecrate me to God according to my destiny. That became revealed to me. I became aware of that only after I came to the United States.
Now, you keep talking about the oracle and mystical powers that reshaped your destiny. Do you think you have extra powers in what you're doing? Do you think they gave you some extra powers to read between the lines, to understand these things that we don't understand?
Well, when you are a medium for the ancestors and for the divine, God Almighty, you don't have any powers. You're simply a vessel that they use to channel themselves through.
But do you have extra powers? Do you have some mystical powers?
Powers, I don't know what that is, because I am just a human being like any other person. Whatever happens in the process of me discharging my spiritual and divine responsibilities, it's not up to me to claim those powers.
You keep saying that you were cursed by God to do his dirty job. A lot of people will want to see you as somebody who thinks out of the box. What do you mean by that? Being cursed by God to do his dirty job?
Well, yeah, yes, because nobody thought in my wildest imagination, not me, that I would leave home and come to America to be playing these drums, which at home are nothing. They are marginalized, minimized, and we, the young generation, will not be caught dead trying to stay in the village playing drum like our foreparents. It's a waste of time, because our outlook, westernized outlook, is incompatible with village lifestyle dealing with drums and ceremonies.
You started playing the drum in 1982. We are talking about over 33 years of playing the drum. This is passion to its highest. or in its highest form. Did you get any personal training? Because apart from the drum, you also play the talking drum. You have other names like the cha, you have the anu, the echik. All those instruments you play to perfection. Did you receive any formal training?
In African tradition, we do not have formal training for our culture because our tradition is just our way of life. When you grow up with the elders in the village, mothers and grandmothers and grandparents and uncles, you live with them and see the things that they do every day. That becomes a part of our lifestyle. And to digress a little bit, in the Bible somewhere it said, train a child in the ways of their forefathers and they shall not depart from it when they grow up. So I grew up with my parents, everybody in the village, observing the rituals and the daily lives of the people. So that became myself when I grew up. I couldn't do otherwise, but continue that way.
You tell me that humanity has been miseducated and misled, and that the drum is the solution to all the problems that humanity is facing today. What powers does the drum have to bring solutions to all the problems we are facing in this world today?
We have to now deal with the essence of my calling. In the beginning was the Word. And what is the Word? The Word is the sound that went forth from the mouth of God to bring creation into manifestation. And that voice, the drum echoes that voice. So when you hear that voice, it registers on your heart, deep into your soul, and up to your awareness, and bring us back to the center of creation so we can reconnect with the source. And to be specific, in this case, as an African, I'm called to play that drum, as God puts it, to elevate the feminine aspect of God, because we've been in the age of patriarchal energy, the male domination, that's brought a lot of violence and destruction on earth. So God is about to balance it up by elevating the feminine aspect of herself, to balance the energy so that there can be peace and harmony.
So is the drum feminine?
Yes, it is the voice of the African woman.
We all know about the talking drum. We have read about the talking drum. We have listened to people talk about the talking drum, but I've never actually got to hear a drum talk. But you tell me that the drum has a language. What language does the drum speak?
The drum speaks the language of God, the language of our ancestors. Because when we play the drum, it has vibrations that go beyond the physical world in which we live. It goes and echoes into the metaphysical world.
Can we make a sentence using the sound of a drum?
Absolutely.
What drum do we talk with? Is it this one? Which of the drums do?
Like human beings, each instrument, a drum has its own particular language.
Okay.
But as a language, we communicate using our languages and vocabulary. So that whatever you say, no matter how you say it with your deep vocal inflection, you are saying something, you're communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So music and instruments are tools for communication.
Can we make a sentence using the sound of a drum?
Absolutely.
What drum do we talk with? Is it this one? Which of the drums do?
Okay. Let's start with this one. Tukam.
I want to understand, because there I don't know if it made a statement or it made a sound. I want to understand, can we have this to make a statement?
Absolutely. What I did was a statement.
Really?
Yes.
So what did it say?
When royalty is approaching, or the mystical embodiment of the people's faith and tradition, that we call the power, that which symbolizes the power of the people. we call it colloquially juju.
Mhm.
Juju means the power of the people. When the royalty, the chief or the king or the emperor is approaching or is about to speak, or the juju is approaching the scene or moving across one village to another for a certain ceremony,
You get the sound.
this preceded in order to warn people around that a VIP is approaching. You need to clear
Clear the way.
the way.
What inspires your rhythm? You do a lot of rhythms. You have the skill to do the purely traditional African rhythm, and you also have the skill to be able to integrate modern music. How do you create rhythm? How do you create your own rhythm using the drum?
The drum is the foundation, like I said a while ago, of our tradition. So when you say the drum, even in contemporary music, you have the drum set, the battery, is the foundation of the orchestra. So when that rhythm is set, however the musician or the traditionalist sets the foundation, then everything else is built upon it.
What inspires you? Is it the sound of the wind, the birds, the sky? What inspires you to create the rhythm?
Where it comes naturally, like the thoughts that come through our head, they come through, even though we may think that we are thinking the thoughts, we are more or less receptacles through thoughts that come from somewhere, that come through us, and we express them.
So when you start playing the drum, do you get in some form of a trance?
Absolutely. Listen, African musicians and traditional musicians are transmitters. They're mediums. So either they're saying messages that come from the chief, or they sit there, the ancestors speak through them and they express it, the language, through the instrument that they play.
Your prowess as a drummer landed you a job at the University of Maryland, where you taught drumming for several years. How did you get that connection? How did you find yourself teaching drumming in the University of Maryland?
Well, I've been around here for that much of a long time, as you mentioned, 42 years plus. Been around, people see you, they get to see you, go to places, churches, festivals, schools, events, people get to know you. So when you are known, then word gets around, and when people need information or need your services, then they have a way of contacting you, or contacting somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows
you. So that's how you landed the job.
Yes.
What did you teach them? I mean, when you saw, because most of them are white students, so what did you teach them? You took the drum over to that place. How was it like?
Yes, where there are non-African students and Africans alike, I tell them about the mystery of the drum, especially when it pertains to Africa, because Africa is the cradle of civilization. Everything about humanity started in Africa.
Now, so you teach them about the mystery of the drum,
yes.
and then you go to the practice and teach them how to play it.
Yes.
Now, but Papa, don't you feel like you're selling out our most sacred secret? Because we are most of the time you're teaching white people. I understand they always want to know more. They always want to have a deeper meaning to what is at the surface.
Yes.
Don't you feel like you as an African, you as a Cameroonian, you're selling away our cultural heritage, our mysteries, our values?
Yes, because we as human beings, we don't own nothing. God and the ancestors that control everything. If somebody gives you a gift and you don't know the value of it, it's as worth as useless. Unless you know the right value of it, you can use it positively, or you cannot use it negatively, and each one ensures consequences. So knowledge itself is universal. When you enlighten human beings, that's what knowledge is supposed to do. People become ennobled, they get lifted up, and they get enlightened. And when that happens, you become a torchbearer for the universe. But if you are damned with ignorance, you take good knowledge and abuse it, it backfires. It's like fire. Fire can be used positively or can be used negatively. Each one has instant consequences.
You tell me that the drum has taken you places, it has opened many doors for you. You've had the opportunity to perform in great events, you've had the opportunity to teach in several universities, meet different people. How has this whole experience impacted your life? Do you make a living out of this?
Well, with the places where I've been, the drum has really humbled me because I played for somebody like Nelson Mandela when he came out of prison, and going to a lot of churches and seeing what God and the ancestors do through the mystery of the drum. Went to Japan and reconnecting with Japanese Oriental version of myself taught me that there's but one human spirit around the world. No matter how we look, we are all one. Now, like I was saying to you a while ago, I grew up in a church and I learned a lot through biblical parables. And the simplest way to answer this question is this: Jesus Christ, the Master, the enlightened one, taught the disciples and humanity. Foxes have holes, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no way to lay his head. So pertaining to your question, yes, the calling of to be a drummer has taken me everywhere, but it has made my life restless.
That should be one of the challenges that you've had as a master drummer, apart from being restless, because Ngwa, for sure, you don't have a woman in your life per se, because you've been everywhere and you've definitely not had the time to sit down and have this family and stuff, but you've got a lot of children that you take care of. But I believe that this thing you've had a lot of challenges, apart from being restless, apart from losing out on so many other things. What are the other challenges that you face? Because you tell me people call you the drumming clown.
Yes, some people who are ignorant and very uninitiated, they see me as just a drumming jester, an entertainer. And to those, all I can say is I keep playing the drum, and after a while, it would dawn on them. They get an epiphany, a revelation, and that would help to transform their lives. Because as they know better, they do better. Humanity has fallen afoul of its calling because of ignorance.
You title yourself Drumming Theological Minister and Evangelist. It's kind of contradictory because I understand that most traditions clash with Christianity or with anything that has to do with God. Where do you find yourself? How can you be a minister of God at the same time you're a traditionalist?
Who is our teacher? Who did we learn from?
God.
We go the system that is imposed upon Africa. Did you learn from your grandparents? Did they raise you teaching you the values of life? Or you went to school? Who designed the school? Who designed the curriculum? What knowledge are you learning? The language and the knowledge of your oppressor. You don't go to the devil to be saved, to be sanctified. So if we are learning from the colonialists who colonized us to drop us off everything that's African, then that knowledge is based on falsehood and deception. Point blank. The Western academic system is based on falsification of history and truth. That's why the African is very disoriented. Because you can't take the head of a horse and put it on the head of a cow and expect, how do you expect the animal to function? That can't be a contradiction right there.
Ngwa, you tell me that your mother was chosen by the gods and she was chosen to play the drum. She passed over this past to you. Who is your own successor? If someday you are no longer on this earth, who will play the drum like you?
Well, I really have so many of them all across the United States and the world. And if you mean successor biologically from my own roots, I leave that to destiny. But as far as I'm concerned in terms of my calling, I've already impacted a lot of children, some known and some unknown. So they're already in the world, they're doing it.
Can I see your hands, Ngwa? Yeah, I would very much like. When I look at your hands, it tells a story. I see in your hands pain, I see hard work, and I see success. It is all written there, from all the bumps, from the everything, the lines and everything, the stiffness of the skin. Am I right at what I'm saying?
Nene. You are Nene, right?
I am.
So you are a seer yourself. I don't have to tell you anything because everything is right here, you can read it. Yes, there's pain, there's suffering. And out of pain and suffering comes what? Success. No sweat, no gain. No pain, no gain.
Pangwa, we're going to end with what I call tic-tac. Pangwa, your strength.
My strength are my ancestors.
Your weaknesses.
Frustration.
What you miss most back home.
I miss the village life, the community, the love.
If you had the choice, will you still be a master drummer in your next life?
Yes, with the frustrations taken away.
Do you have any regrets?
No.
Will you give me the names of some of your friends back home?
I went to PSS Kumba, and I went to elementary school back home. I started from elementary school. Paul Ndase is a school teacher for a long time. I'm sure he's retired by now. Ngwa, she says, was a school teacher. Didi Ngwa, she's a school teacher. She should be retired by now. Then moving to high school in the village, who represents me in the village as a drummer who inherited the tradition of the ancestors. His name is called Nda Andere. Yes, he's the one when I go home, he comes to welcome me with the drum. Leaving the village scene, that's all those I can remember right away. Leaving the village scene to high school, my friend is Joseph Enge. He has a big farm in Kumba. He was a pilot at Cameroon Airlines, he's retired. Another one is, who's in Bamenda, is Ngwa.
Can you say something in your mother tongue?
Much Arab Mujim Nangata, Rutamujim. I'm beginning in Unap and Jinibi, and Yan and Bangui, and Gatigijim. I hear seven Ngwa and Orange Nibi, got off from me now. Wagan, can one, and you're losing when you are better and got up. The Benabon, we are Pinjugo, could bear in Jugoga, can not form the Suji for the Cameroon. Never know when I go fear to work Kirimbaga for Timbamba, so it is cheer ben, the curb into the name. The same one, Mirabel, but one bamichi. Timmy, you meet Chimba and Baraso. Jilbrim might be watching.
If there is one instrument that I know you play with perfection, is the djembe. Can you do a performance for us, Pangwa, please?
With my pleasure.
It's with that we come to the end of this interview. Pangwa, it was a pleasure being with you.
Yes, peace and love to everybody.
Thank you very much.